What's good, lads? So UFC Taira versus Park just wrapped up, and yeah, dude, I'm gonna be giving my breakdown and recap of the event. Uh, it was pretty alright. Apex card, majorly saved by the top three fights, if I'm being honest. Um, and yeah, it was kind of just regular, but yeah, let's get on to the actual breakdown, dude. Um, Starting off with the first fight. Rafael Esteban versus Felipe Brunes. Uh, Guys, most people predicted Rafael Esteban to get this win because he's undefeated. He actually had decent wins over Charles Johnson. Well, that one decent win over Charles Johnson. Um, yeah, dude, he's just reliable with his grappling. He had a weight miss as well, which was pretty expected considering he took the fight on short notice, which I assume gave him a decent advantage in the fight as well. Yeah, this was a pretty no-brainer, to be honest. I'd like to see him get a ranked opponent next. The UFC may not give him favors because of the weight miss, but I mean, let's just look at the rankings. We might as well start getting these flyweight prospects in, like give him like a Bruno Silva or something, you know what I'm saying? Like something like that. But yeah, dude, let's move on to the next one. Austin Bashi versus John Yanis. Well, guys, I picked I mean Austin Bashi just because he's a UFC guy. He has experience in the UFC. He didn't look all too bad in that performance against Christian Rodriguez. He was able to just kind of grit through the fight, still impose his will all the way till the end. And yeah, that's good. That's pretty good look to be honest. Yeah, you can't pick a guy like John Giannis who's like getting a short notice UFC debut. Um, yeah, you just can't. And Austin Vashi had a pretty good performance tonight, so good job to left lane here. Um, Next up, Nick Klein versus Andrei Pulayev. Yeah, guys, I picked Nick Klein to get this done. He was an underdog, I realized after making the pick. Um, I just thought that he'd be able to get this done through kind of just manhandling Andrei Pulayev throughout the fight, which he was able to do to Mansell Abdulmalik, but very similarly to that fight, he ended up just getting finished in the second round. Yeah. Uh, what I found out is this guy is pretty good to live bet against because, yeah, this guy he's pretty good at just imposing his will and manhandling people in the first, but he kind of just seems to gas and just breaks very easily when starts getting tough on the feet. And yeah, Andrei Pulayev just landed this nasty combo body kick. He Nick Klein immediately followed up. And yeah, the fight was just done. Uh, yeah, nasty by Andrei Pulayev. Nick Klein probably gonna pick against him in his next fight if it's not an opponent that can easily get broken. And Andrei Pulayev, oh no, man. These guys are both like bottom of the barrel. But yeah, let's move on. Rodolfo Vieira versus Tresean Gore. Um, Rodolfo Vieira is now a fighting nerd apparently. Didn't have like a fighting nerd's-esque performance here. Kind of just control grappled Tresean Gore for the 3 rounds. Tresean Gore looking horrible on the feet. I literally saw like a meme of his striking getting compared to like Drewski or some shit, bro. Like, uh, yeah. I mean, just look at the guy, right? Like, I think he should be Bo Nickal's next opponent. I mean, UFC probably wants to give Bo Nickel a free layup win. And dude, Tresean Gore is your guy, you know what I'm saying? In terms of Rodolfo Vieira, he didn't look all too impressive in this fight. He's a fighting note apparently now. Um, I don't have much hype for him going forward, to be honest. Like Mikhail Alexejczuk being a fighting nerd, I take more precedence for that prospect rather than Rodolfo Vieira. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not all too concerned, but I probably would pick Rodolfo Vieira in his next fight. Um, Not a ranked opponent though. But yeah, let's move on, guys. Rinya Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. Rinya Nakamura ended up getting a really easy first like minute KO here. Um, it's obviously not something that would happen 10 times out of 10. But he kind of got lucky. He was able to catch Nathan Fletcher, and now he's back in the win column. After that, lost to Muin Gafarov. there's not much to take from this, dude. He kind of just caught Nathan Fletcher. Um, yeah, we didn't really see much. He even said like in the post fight, he can't really call out a ranked opponent or anything until he gets a few more wins, and I respect that. You know what I mean? He's being reasonable there. This is bantamweight. I'd say probably give him. What would be an interesting fight, dude? Maybe give him to Chang Ho Lee. Do another Japan versus Korea matchup. Two grapplers. Chang Ho Lee, I'd probably favor him in the matchup, just because he actually knows where his strong points are. Um, yeah, that'd be interesting. Maybe Rinya Nakamura versus Chang Ho Lee. You know what I'm saying? Chang Ho Lee is obviously a really good prospect that a lot of us are hyping up. I think that'd be interesting. I'd really be excited for that fight, to be honest. Nathan Fletcher, is that his third loss in a row? Yeah, I think he is, but he does train with Paddy Pimblett. Uh, I know I'd say cut him, but yeah, let's move on, dude. Main card, first fight was Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. Yeah, guys, I'm not gonna lie, we are a bit disappointed with this performance. Yeah, Kevin Vallejos, he honestly, I'm not sure about his prospect in this division going further, dude, because I did see people kind of like saying that, this Danny Silva guy, he's kind of Gene Silva wasn't being given these tough tests on his rise up the rankings, but dude, he kind of was like, I don't know, dude. I feel like if you put a Gene Silva against a Danny Silva, I think he'd be able to get him out of there. You know what I mean? And Vallejos really wasn't close at any point in this fight. He was able to rock. I say rock, but not really even like he was able to like kind of crack Silva a few times, but dude, I'm not gonna lie, Kevin Vallejos, it's pretty clear he's small for the division, but I think his power also doesn't translate all too much. I mean, he lost in his last fight, he fought this like Korea, some Asian guy that was like already out of the like on his way out of the UFC, like so pretty much like a sitting duck for him to chin. But yeah, dude, Danny Silva, I feel like if you were to put Gene Silva in there, he'd be able to get this done, dude. Um, in the first two, because let's be real, Melsik Bagdasaryan is realistically a more hard fight than Silva. Um, I mean, Charles Jourdain, I think that's honestly kind of comparable too. Danny Silva is like a split decision guy, you know what I mean? He doesn't have much finishing potential. He's kind of just a tit for tat guy. Um, yeah, I was honestly a bit di disappointed with his performance. It kind of showed that Vallejos he really is small for the division, but also the power is not all too much there like it is with Gene Silva. Um, I feel like Gene Silva just kind of has these shock moments where he's just able to catch his opponents out of nowhere, and I don't think Vallejos has that same ability. But again, the guy is still 23. I think he is still growing into the division, to be fair to him. But yeah, a little bit of a disappointing performance. Still on like a rise though. He didn't lose the fight, but it wasn't the best look, to be honest. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, guys. Battle of the Unks, Neil Magny versus Zaleski dos Santos. I picked Zaleski dos Santos here because I thought that he'd be able to use the leg kicks to just kind of have like an Ian Gary-esque performance against Magny. Um, and I was kind of wrong. He was able to use leg kicks kind of effectively throughout the fight, but apart from that, he was kind of clinching him up, kind of using a Neil Magny game plan on Neil Magny for the first round. Then second hits, he's able to do that for a lot of the round. And then Neil Magny just kind of gets top position and kind of just takes the fight. He is good on dominant on top of the position, Neil Magny, but like Dos Santos, he kind of just quit really easily, dude. Like it was really similar to how like Magny got the Mike Mallet win by just getting top position and then just being able to just ground and pound away while his opponent quits. Um, so yeah, dude, I guess Neil Magny extended his win streak or winning record at welterweight. Um, yeah, just I don't know if they're gonna put him back in the rankings or give him a ranked opponent or something, but I say give him to like some form of welterweight prospect that's able to finish him again. Like he lost to Carlos Prates and Malcolm Morales. Maybe give him a what's a solid welterweight? I would have said Carlos Leal, but uh, let me just think, guys. What's a solid welterweight prospect? There's actually not many, but yeah, I'd say give him to someone like that. Maybe a bounce back fight for Kevin Holland. But to be honest, I think Kevin Holland might lose it. So yeah, honestly, dude, just put Magny back in the ranking. Like, ugh. Um, okay. Anyway, guys, moving on to the next fight. This is a bloody banger. Elves Brenner versus Esteban Ribovics. As of right now, I don't know who's gonna get the fight of the night bonus between these two. I mean, I'd say give them both performance bonus. I mean, they literally broke. All four of these guys have taken like years off their lives with their respective fights. So yeah, I'd say give them both. I don't know how realistic that is with an Apex card, but yeah, man, like these four went to absolute war for us on the main card, and yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna say it, but yeah, these two fights definitely would deserve a crowd. Um, yeah, I picked Elvis Brenner in this fight to be honest, because I thought that Esteban Rubic was quite overrated with that Daniel Selhuber win, just not aging well at all. And also the fact that he's not really able to put these like significant strikes on his opponents a lot of the time, which is what ends up like stealing these decisions away from Ribovics, which we saw in the Hack Barras fight. And I'm actually kind of all right with getting this pick wrong. Elvis Brenner, I think, did a lot better than a lot of people expected. I think he won at least one of the rounds. Um, he arguably did lose all three though. But yeah, it was competitive, dude. Um, Ribovics is just a walk forward fighter. I mean, he does leave himself in danger a lot of the fight, which is why his opponents are able to do somewhat right against him, and it's always going to be kind of close. Um, but yeah, I think I did underestimate the fact that Ribovics just does have like way more output than Brenner. Um, and yeah, dude. Props to Brenner though. I mean, he got brutally finished in his last outing. A lot of fighters would respond to that by just kind of cowering up and stalling the fighters out. But nah, dude, Brenner's the guy that loves to do the man dance, dude. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this guy they both standard and banned. Um, yeah, another fight of the year contender to be honest. But yeah, dude, Esteban Ribovics ended up getting the deserved decision. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. In terms of future opponents for Ribovics, I'd say you could probably give him like a ranking eliminator. So a fight that if he wins, he could get a ranked opponent. Uh, but honestly, maybe just match up these two, to be honest, Duncan and Ribovics, and just see who wins out of them two. Um, that might honestly be the move. I mean, they're going to be on similar schedules. Both of them took decent amounts of damage. Duncan more, obviously, but yeah, maybe book that. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, guys. Rebecki versus Duncan. Oh, mate. The UFC is actually so fucking hard to predict sometimes, but I swear to God. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be arguing the decision here for Rebecki. Um, I think a lot of people's parlays got fucked up with this fight, especially as well. But honestly, dude, I would have given it to Duncan as well, to be honest. Like I think he arguably could have won the first, and he obviously won the second. And I think the third was a 50-50, but dude, in terms of damage, Rebecki was wearing a lot more damage than Duncan was at the end of the first. And I think Duncan's shots, like Rebecki was imposing his will way more, but at the end of the day, dude, a lot of his shots were just whiffing over the guard, and he was wearing way more damage. So I honestly would argue that the first round could have been given to Duncan. Second round was Duncan's, um, just by him out tit for tatting Rebecki. And then the third was kind of 50-50. So honestly, people who are mad about 30-27, I think there's somewhat of an argument. Um, like I honestly would argue that it's there's more of an argument for 30-27 Duncan than there is 29-28 Rebecki. And this is someone who picked Rebecki, by the way. So yeah, yeah, dude. Rebecki's the like a hard fighter, man, because it's a he, it's like hard to really measure where this guy is because he is just this like massive ball of muscle that just kind of goes out there and swings against his opponent, and he doesn't really show much skill out there. But like, I don't know, man. This guy just kind of marauds forward, and yeah, I feel like his technique and accuracy just let him down because realistically, if he was hitting like all the shots he was throwing, he would have gotten Duncan out of there. But yeah, this fight didn't even make sense to me, dude. Like, it kind of showed that Orobai is a bit of a fraud, annoyingly. But yeah, dude, the UFC is just fucking hard as fuck to predict. Yeah. Rebecki, I was saying before this that Rebecki should have been given a ranked opponent. In hindsight, he probably would have lost to him. Yeah, dude. Uh, I guess we're never gonna get another lightweight outside the rankings ranked. Um, but yeah, congrats to Chris Duncan. This was the deserved decision, in my opinion. Um, and yeah, dude. Uh, hopefully, someone gets a ranked opponent soon in lightweight. But yeah, moving on to the main event, guys. Tatsuro Taira versus Hyunsung Park. This was the battle of the anime fans versus the skincare routine, the sushi versus the kimchi, and yeah, the anime and sushi wondered. It is kind of unfair because I'm not gonna lie, like you should not be fighting Tatsuro Taira on short notice at all. I mean, Hong Sung Park has had like the most chaotic week of his life. I'm pretty sure this guy was supposed to be like, I don't even think he was fighting a few weeks before. I don't even know if he was booked, but yeah, the UFC called him up to fight Steve Erceg like a week ago or some shit. Um, and that's more of an approachable matchup to be honest, because if you're fighting Steve Erceg, it's just going to be like tit for tat, right? But then he gets the call to fight Tatsuro Taira, like, uh, it's like you need a training camp for Tatsuro Taira, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you picked Hyungsung Park here, you're just trying to be different, you're just retarded. Um, And yeah, Tatsuro Taira, dude, he ended up knocking down Hyunsung Park early too, which kind of tells me that he's been working on his hand a little bit. That's good for him. He's still very young. I think he's still like, but like very early 20s or maybe even um younger than that. But yeah, he's showing improvement. And he was able to just get a sub in the second round for a neck crank. Um, yeah, pretty standard, dude. Yeah. Young Sung Park should not have taken this fight, to be honest. To be honest, this fight night card could have been pretty good if it had a more uh, grandiose main event. But yeah, this one, it was just kind of clear who was going to win, dude. And in terms of next opponents, I'd say give Kyung Sung Park a little bit of a layup for taking this fight. Um, Maybe someone like a Ode Osborne coming off a loss to Steve Erceg. Um, Maybe even give him like an easy ranked opponent, like Bruno Silva or some shit. Like I'd reward Hyung-Sung Park a little bit for this. Or even Tim Elliott coming off a loss to Kai Sakura or something like that. In terms of Tatsuro Taira though, um, I think he called for a title shot. Like, bro, what are you doing? You're not getting a title shot off a win against an unranked guy when you're number six, by the way. You're just not. But in terms of his next opponent, I kind of want to say rebook the Amir Albazi fight, but fuck Amir Albazi. He's already fought Royval, obviously. Honestly, probably do the Moreno fight as the title eliminator, if I'm being real. Oh, but then yet again, I'd probably give. Honestly, bro, at flyweight, I'd say do Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. Book that for a bit later on, maybe the Noche card, something like that. Bit later on, um, maybe next year even. And then book Manel Cup versus Kai Kara France for a title eliminator for Manel Cup. It's probably what I do. Um, but yeah, in terms of the overall card, dude, I ended up going pretty sure it was like 6-4. Kind of ass. Yeah, dude. UFC is just hard to predict sometimes, but yeah, that will do it. Again, I will be um reviewing the card next week. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time.